Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to be trying out some sketchbooks from the company Lightwish. They have sent me these three to try out, which I'm very excited to do. I have already opened them, which is why the packaging is kind of ripped, but I thought I would seal them back up so that we can open them again together. So we'll start with this one. The paper is made from 100% cotton. There isn't really any other information about the paper on them, like what the GSM is. This first one is really cute. They have like spiral bound, so you can like take pages out or refill it with your own pages. So it's like a faux leather kind of deal. If you are interested in finding out more about them or getting them for yourself, the links for these will be in the description down below. So yeah, this one's got like a magnet clasp. And I believe they all come in different colours. I will put on the screen if I am correct about that. And you can see the spiral through the cover, which is like an odd choice. I don't know, I don't typically use spiral bound sketchbooks, so I'm kind of new to this. And yeah, it's got like some thick paper. So this is the first one. It is just like a nice A5 sized sketchbook. We will try this out later, but first let's look at the other ones. So this is the second one, which I will open again for you. This one's got like a sort of like scaly leather vibe going on. And you can see the dimensions a bit better here. So this is another watercolour sketchbook. This one doesn't have a magnet. It is instead held in by like a little, what do you want to call that? What is that? Strap? I'm not sure what that is. This one is obviously smaller than the previous one. Let me show you, like, that's quite a bit smaller. I don't actually know what size this would be, but it's, yeah. And then the paper obviously is a lot smaller because it has to fit in the book. But it's got like these little flaps, so you can like put other things in them, I guess. At the back there's just another one, and then like a little slot for you to put like your pen or paintbrush or whatever in them. I imagine you could use these bits like how those travel journals work, where you put the back cover in and then you've got another book on top. Have I got anything I can do that with to show you? This might be too big. Yeah, that's way too big. But like the idea would be like you put the back page in, I guess, and then it's like you got another book in there. But this one's way too big, so that's not gonna work. This one's really cute. It gives like, I don't know, old explorer vibes. I really like the leather effect. And I think this one also comes in different colours, I'm not entirely sure. But the last one, this one is very cool. This is a watercolour travel set and it comes in a little box. This one is so cute. It gives me like Hobbit vibes. I already set it up, all the pieces actually come separately in the box. But I was very excited to see it. So as you can see, it's this beautiful green. That's probably why it makes me think of hobbits. And it's got like loads of, I don't know what they're called, things. What are they called? Like bolts, or I don't know what they're called, but like to hold it together. It says jeans on it, so I don't know what that's about. And then it's got like a little holder on the side because it comes with this little paintbrush, so it's just like handy to take traveling with you. And I don't know, oh, it's still hard. I don't know if this is a good paintbrush or not, but that is another thing that we will test out in this video. And then it has this really nice like elastic band to hold the book closed. And then when you open it, you have this little book. There's cardboard here at the back, which I don't know what that's about. So I guess I'll get rid of that. But it has those slots again here at the back. Oh, I imagine it could, if you're left-handed or right-handed, maybe that's what it is. Because it came with this, which is like, it's got another spiral bound thing, which you can just like pop this on and off very easily. So I imagine if you have like similar items, you could just attach anything there. And then this slots into the thing, whatever, the band, like I was mentioning in the other one, because this is a little palette, a paint palette, for you to just put your paints in and then mix them here, and then when you're on the go, you can just do painting. You can do painting. You can just paint. See? Very handy. Just dot dot dot. Paint, paint, paint. Which I will be doing in this video. But yeah, it's really cute. This is magnetized, so it should stay safe with all of your paints. Obviously, there's no like water dish or anything. You'll have to bring your own water separately. It doesn't come with paints, but Light Wish was very, very nice, and they sent me some of the Paul Rubens watercolors. They are in tubes, so that I can fill this up with whatever colors I want, and it's ready, yeah? So I guess I will be testing out these watercolors in the video as well, and I thought it would be cute to just like choose my colors now with you guys before we get into it. I think we have 16 slots. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 18 slots. Yeah, 18 slots. I can't count. So that's quite a lot of colours we can use. Let's take a look. Obviously, I want to kind of like stick with the like primary colours and then add a few other colours. Hang on. There's not really a purple. Is this purple? Is this purple? It's kind of purple. But that's crazy. Where are the purples? There's like... Oh my gosh. There's not really a purple in this set. I think that's the closest. It is a violet, which I think technically makes it a purple, so I am being a bit over dramatic. But like, you guys know how I feel about my purples. Okay, that's fine. We can work with this. Let me move this better so you can see. Like, I want this green. Oh, and I also want this kind of like, it's an olive green. That is nice. Do I want white? I might as well. I mean, I never use it in watercolor. I don't actually know how you use it. Okay, one more. What do? I wish I had another purple. Yeah, okay, we'll do one more. No, I don't want to do another red. Do I want another red? Let's go for ultramarine deep. And then put that there. That will work. Let's do that. I don't ever use tube paints, so I don't know if it's going to work how I'm expecting them to, but I was thinking of letting them dry out, because obviously if I want to travel with this, whoa, that is not what I thought it would be. Okay, I don't want these going everywhere. That kind of just looks like it's not mixed. So yeah, I want to let these dry out so that then they won't go everywhere, and like, I'm used to using dry watercolor, so I'm hoping it will just act the same. I have no idea if that's the case, but this will be a lesson for me. If not, I will learn from this and we will see what happens. These colors are very different, I think. They're not what I expected. Okay, those two look very similar. Oh, that's nice. See, that looks more purple. That's like a red purple. I like that one. Ooh, that looks almost exactly the same. There's maybe just a little bit more blue in that one. This is the one that is like supposedly purple. Okay, that's probably gonna look a lot different when I actually use it. Okay, no, I can see that that's purple. On camera it looks black, but that is like purple. Honestly, this is not looking like a great range. Like, I never said I was good at picking palettes. I'm just very good at judging them and being very judgmental. These paints are a lot runnier than I thought they would be. Whoa, that's also really dark. And now we are onto the browns, which I probably don't need because brown is one of the easiest colours to make. What is this? That's gross. That's so chunky. That was gross. Please don't be the same. Okay, good. Oh. That one wasn't mixed either. Okay, that's enough. So we've got a very dark palette. So I will just leave this to dry, and then I guess I will use it. So since the point of this watercolor palette set with the book is that it's meant to make it easier to paint on the go, like the whole point is that it is to use while you are traveling, I really wanted to use it in a outdoor situation. So me and my brother decided to go visit this hill that we used to visit all the time when we were children. It is a very popular walking spot and it is beautiful. It is so gorgeous. It is, like I said, up a hill, so it is quite a walk and very, very steep, but it is so worth it when you are up there. It has such beautiful views and it is just such a nice, beautiful place. So we went around walking, looking for somewhere that we could just sit down and draw something, and we came across this tree that is really, really nice. It looks like it's like either two trees that grew together or one tree that like split in the early stages of it growing. So it's got like this really nice like split tree look and it's so gorgeous. So we sat down here to do some sketching of it. I'm struggling a little bit because I am holding the camera in my other hand, so I don't have a huge amount of footage of this because I had to keep putting the camera down to actually do stuff. But this was so fun. It was so cute, and this is quite a small sketchbook, so I was like working quite small, but I found that because I'm outdoors as well, it was like really perfect for just doing like a loose sketch. And I even mentioned to my brother while we were out there that I was feeling very Arthur Morgan. I really, really enjoyed drawing outside like this, and I really want to do it more often. Now it is time to test how well this actually works, and I'm using the paintbrush that came with it, and I'm just trying to be very simple with my colouring here. I struggled a little with the paintbrush. It wasn't the best. It felt like the bristles kept tangling with each other and they also kept falling out, so I had to keep picking them out of the paint palette and off of my page. So the brush isn't the best, but the rest of it I was really, really enjoying. These paints are really, really nice and very vibrant, as you can see here, and I'm just basically doing some simple colouring, just lots of greens, and the tree we were looking at had like some orange blossom look on it, which I didn't realise when we were there because I could barely see anything because it was so bright outside. I basically just stuck to making it a green tree with orange hues in it, and it was so much fun. I really loved doing this. This was such a nice day, and I really liked how loose I was with the picture as well because we were just like sat out there for about an hour or so. It was extremely windy, which made it very difficult doing everything one-handed, but it was so nice and compact, and packing it up was so easy, and we just let the paints dry, which was really, really quick. And then we were going to do more. We were going to use one of the other sketchbooks here as well, but it was getting very windy, and yeah, the weather was just starting to turn, so we decided to head home. But we said goodbye to the horses because there were horses on the hill. They sometimes have just random animals up there. Sometimes there'll be sheep. This time there were horses, and they had decided to block the route on the way out, which was a little worrying because we didn't know these horses, we didn't know how they'd react, but they were actually super chill and not actually blocking the gate. And yeah, the walk back was as nice as being on the hill, so it was just a really lovely day. I did get sunburnt, which was unfortunate. We apparently didn't put enough sun cream on. I really, really love how this turned out. The one thing I was the most disappointed with, I think, is the blue that I used for the sky. Ooh, whoa, why did that happen? That's kind of gross. I don't know why that happened. Oh, because it's been upside down, I guess this one was sticky. That's the one that I had the most trouble with, because that was the one that I felt like was just like separated, and every time I went to use it to paint, like no colour would come off of it. So I feel like there's something wrong with that one, especially since all of the others are dry and that one's still really tacky. But anyway, as I was saying, I think this was like one of the lighter blues, I'm not sure, but when I went to use the blue, it came out like really dull. Like this is a lot duller than I thought it would be. So that was the only thing, because now it kind of looks a bit like a stormy day, which it did end up being, but when I was painting this, it was a very bright blue sunny day. I really enjoyed this. This was so much fun, and I really want to do more like this. I typically don't draw or paint outside at all because I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But doing this, it was such a step outside of my comfort zone, and it was so much fun. I loved doing it. I think this one is absolutely perfect for doing that. Like I said, not a big fan of the brush. It just, I don't want to be mean, but it does feel kind of cheap, and the bristles just aren't very nice, so I would probably swap it out for a different brush. I think one of those, like, what are they called, like the aqua pens that like have a little capsule of water in them. I feel like one of those would work better, especially because then you'd have your own water in the pen. But yeah, this brush just not my favourite, I have to say, but the rest of it loved, and I plan on taking it with me when I go to visit my mum in France, because we're going to do some drawing outside, hopefully. I imagine she'll try to steal this from me. We've tried this one, so now I want to try the other books as well. So yes, since that first one had been just a quick little one that I'd done while I was out there, I wanted to do another version of the same picture in this bigger one here. The buckle was a little trouble at first, but I just bent it under and it kind of straightened it out. But it was making me laugh how stubborn it was being initially. So I wanted to just do, like, because the first one had been so quick, I thought it would be fun to do a comparison of the same tree, but this time taking more time and being at home, which means I'm like not worried about bugs and people, and just seeing how different it would compare, because I spend a lot more time on this one compared to the first picture, and I was just curious how different that would look. The paper was really nice. It just feels like some standard watercolor paper, but sketching on it felt really nice. This was a good way to test as well that the watercolor palette also fits into this one. I can just clip it onto the spirals that are there. It does mean that if you are then painting further in the book, it will be resting on a previous page, which could be an issue if you like spill some paint or something, but if you're careful with it, I feel like it will be fine. So yeah, I stuck to using just that paint palette for this. That's when I realised that I think it is definitely better suited for quick on-the-go paintings. Even then, it's a little tricky. And what I mean by that is the mixing palette is very small. I kind of would prefer a bigger one because there's just not much room to mix the colours or to dilute them that much, which can be an issue because then obviously if you then get the other colours that are already on the palette in the colour you are currently mixing, it's just going to muddy it up. Like, I can see this very quickly becoming a mess on the palette. So that's my only problem with this set, is that I would prefer a bigger palette, but then the whole point is like convenience of how small it is, so I don't know how you could really get away with that unless you like bring your own separate palette. But then, I don't know, that would then mean bringing more stuff, and the whole point is to be like nice and small and concise. But yeah, because I was trying to get more colours in this picture, that's when I was like having the issue of the mixing palette blending into each other. So I kind of just basically tried to colour it the same way I did the first one, where I had like blues in the background for the branch pieces that are like supposed to be further away because I really liked how I did that in the first one. I'm not sure why. I was having more trouble getting the vibrant purples and blues in this painting as opposed to the first one. I don't know if that's, like I said, to do with the palette or if I was just, my brain just wasn't in the same place. But either way, I was still really enjoying how this was turning out because I don't do watercolor painting that much. I mostly stick to like acrylics and gouache painting, but I just did it differently this time because I typically like to make everything like super neat and put down layers and then build up on that. But this one I was just like not caring if I was leaving some of the page unpainted, and I was just being like kind of messy with it, and it was so much more fun and I really liked how it was looking. At this point I was like, I don't know that I can do more with painting. I feel like with how watercolor works, I'm kind of at the point with me specifically where I can't do anymore, and I was struggling to get the vibrant colors, like I said, because of the mixing palette. So I decided instead to go in with some colored pencil as well, seeing as this was an at-home experiment as opposed to I wouldn't have the pencils with me if I was on a walk. I just thought it'd be nice to just finish the picture off with that. So I'm just touching up some areas, adding some blues in, and really trying to get that like layered effect, you know, like I want there to be depth to the picture. I was having so much fun with the pencils. It was really giving what I wanted the piece to look like. I then also went for a lined look, which kind of changed the whole vibe of the picture. It made it look maybe too neat. I kind of miss some of the messiness that I had, but then it was like hard for me to balance like getting the distinction that I wanted that the line art would give and also leaving it messy. So I was kind of just like going all over the place with it, and then trying to bring some of the messiness back in by just adding some like, you know, just some marks here and there, which I do think helped. It definitely made it look a lot better. I think maybe I went too crazy with the pencils. Oh, also, I'm sorry the camera keeps shaking every now and then. My tripod thing that I use to hold my phone, I feel like it's been getting really loose lately and I'm not really sure how to fix that. So combined with the fact that I am like pressing and jostling the table with these pencils, it just made for a very shaky experience. And then to finish it off, I just felt like going in with some white gel pen to add some sparkles, and yeah, it gave a very different vibe. I really like how like magical it looks. It feels like the kind of thing you might expect from like a like an illustrated book. I don't know, maybe a children's book, or I'm not sure, like a cute story, you know? So yeah, I really like it. But like I said, very different vibes from the first one. But I still think it's really fun to like compare the two and see like the at-home version versus the on-the-go version, and I do think I prefer this one. I really like it, and because I didn't like try to go too detailed with it, the loose blending of the colours just looks really nice to me. And then like the pencil, and I just really like this one. I still really like this one as well, but this one is my favourite. And then to finish off, I wanted to also use the last sketchbook. Now, they're all using the same paper, so I guess technically that it's a bit pointless, but it's more like to feel like how it feels to work in these sketchbooks and like the paper sizes and stuff. And with this one, I wanted to do something different because I had been doing like real life landscape stuff in the previous two. I wanted to do something that a bit more like what I usually do on my channel. So I am going to do a picture of Kara, as you can probably tell. This is a very different art style than I usually do though, because I have been really into Peach Riot lately. So I wanted to do something that was just like kind of inspired by that. That's why she looks very different here. And I've really enjoyed sketching in that style. It's so much fun. And so to colour it in, I decided to use gouache instead of watercolour because they're basically the same. Gouache is just a thicker version, but I did want to show, and I was also curious to see how it would work on this paper. And yeah, it works about as much as you would expected. It's perfect. It works really nicely. No different to using watercolor except for the fact that it is thicker, and I was just going for a flat vibe. I didn't want to do like loads of like too much detail, because sometimes I can try and add too much like light source and shadows and just try and make things look not realistic, but I can do too much sometimes, and I really just wanted to stick with something more simple. I was going for flatter colors, and I was having so much fun, and I was really liking how it looked. This paper was handling it all so nicely. Like, this is really nice paper. I'm really surprised, mostly because they didn't say like that much information about what the paper was, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I was really pleasantly surprised. Like, no matter how much water I put on them, it never buckled. It like holds it all really well. My only issue with like this sketchbook specifically is that the cover doesn't really like to stay open so much, so I had to like hold it down the entire time I was using it, whereas the other two were, I guess, a softer material, so like I could bend them and they would stay. This one was just a little trickier in that regard. Painting in it was really fun. Doing this different style of Kara is immensely fun. If you don't know, Kara is my OC. She's my original character. She is a blue demon, as you can probably tell by now. And I just like using her for like just drawing her when I don't know what to do, or for videos like this where I just want to do something I like doing. Like, she is a comfort character to me. So yeah, it was really fun trying a different art style with her. I do that from time to time, and it's just so much fun because she is such an established character for me. She is very easy to just put into different art styles and see how she would look. And I wanted to go with like different colours to what I usually use, because I usually go for like pinks and stuff for like the backgrounds, but I decided to go for a green. I was trying to go for like a chartreuse, but I was really struggling to get that, so I did add a second layer that is a bit closer, I think. I've just been in a green mood lately and I'm not sure why. And her colours are also very toned down, which I think works really nicely with having such a bright colour behind her, because normally I feel like this green is quite hard to pair with some colours, but because she's wearing quite neutral colours, it works. And then I finished by lining in the typical way that I line, which is with like blues and purples and reds, and I just really love how this turned out. It's just a very simple picture, but it was really fun to do, and I just love my girl Kara and drawing her, so any excuse to draw her is just a good one in my opinion. So I'm just finishing up by adding some stuff to the background because it was looking a bit patchy. So I added some yellow pencil behind her and then just some like scribbles around her. Then her name as well, because I don't know, it can be very fun, but also I just want to cement the fact that her name is Kara with a K, because people tend to get that wrong a lot and spell it with a C. So I just like to remind people that it is with a K. I really, really love how this turned out. It's very vibrant and a little different to what I usually do. The page is a little bent, which you can probably see, but that's like nothing compared to some papers that I've used. But as you can see, like this, it doesn't stay down so much. So for filming, that's not great because it means the page is like in shadow, but also it means like it's kind of annoying. And like if I want to use this side, I'm gonna have to be like angling the whole book. So that's my only issue with this, is like it doesn't really lay flat so much, so it is a little harder to use. But otherwise I think this one is really, really cute. It's like a traveling journal, like an expedition, explorer, adventurer's journal. I think it's really, really cute. So let me grab the other ones. Very green pieces. I was enjoying using these so much. I typically don't like spiral bound things, but it was fine for this. Obviously I haven't tried using the other side, so I don't know. The spiral bound will probably get in the way, but I do also really like how easy it is to then like take the picture out, and like I could put this on my wall if I wanted, or like if I'm planning to give this to my mum, she can either keep the picture or I can take it out and she's still got the rest of the book to use. So I do really like that about it. And like I could add other pages in there. I could add like a bunch of coloured paper if I wanted. So I do really like the customization that you can get from a spiral bound book like this. Or not spiral bound, because these aren't spirals, but they are like binder clips. I don't actually know what you call them. I feel like it's a binder clip. But yeah, this was so much fun to do. Like I said, I loved going outside to just do a painting, so I want to do more of that. If you are interested in trying them out for yourself or just checking them out, there will be links for them in the description down below. I want to say a big thank you to Lightwish for sending them to me to try out, and also a big thank you to everyone who has watched this video. Thank you so much for being here, and as always I want to give a massive, massive thank you to my patrons, and I should hopefully have another video out for you guys soon, so I will see you then.